I wanted to talk about the first unit project in CIS 130, and that's the Word unit project. I know it's hard to believe already. You're just in week 3 here working on Microsoft Word, and we're already talking about the last part of it, the big project that you have to complete. You've done a lot of hands-on exercises and hopefully learned a lot of new skills. Now is your chance to apply it. And I don't want you to just do another assignment where I dictate exactly what file and what step to do each part of the assignment on. I actually want to give you a lot of free reign to develop something that's meaningful to you. So the assignment for the unit project is to pick one of these 4 areas really, and I'm really flexible. It could be a class that you've taken, your degree program, student club if you're a part of one. I've had students use the Honors Club to actually promote in their CIS 130 project, or it could be your place of employment. Promoting your place of employment. That's actually the most popular topic, I'd say. And then what are you going to do? Well, there's 3 parts to it because there are 3 chapters that we cover in Microsoft Word. You're going to design a promotional flyer, which is basically everything you learned about Chapter 5. You can start working on that already. Chapter 6, you're learning about templates. So you're going to learn to customize a template and create a letter for part of your unit project. And the last part is based on stuff you're going to learn about next week in Chapter 7. You're going to create some sort of form, a sign-up form, or I've seen some other creative ideas for like a Euchre tally sheet. All of that would be really cool. That's what the unit project is. Now this assignment, this is the general description. I hope you've read that. There's actually a whole separate grading rubric that goes into detail about everything that I need to see in your project. First, I do want to give you the grading rubric of elements I need to see, but you design them, and they should be something you've created. I don't want to see flyers that came from the internet. I want you to design your own flyer with Word. And remember the late work policy. If there's an emergency or something going on, I need to hear about it ahead of time if you need any wiggle room with that deadline. I'm generally announcing these projects weeks ahead of time so that you get like 2 or 3 weeks to work on the unit projects. So I think I've given you a fair amount of time if you work at it piece by piece. This is definitely not the type of project that you wait till last minute to start. If you scroll down in this course syllabus, I do want to highlight that this is week 3. We've posted the Word unit project. It's not due this week. It's not due next week even. You're going to be doing Word Chapter 7, and you're going to have lots of time to work on your unit project. It's not due until the end of week 5. We'll actually be doing Excel at the same time. So let's jump over to the rubric, which is available on the front of the Moodle page. At the very top, I have this general guideline for how I judge each of the skills you have to show, and I do it on a 5-point scale. If you completely forget to add an element in your project, you get a 0 out of 5 for it. If you've attempted to apply the skill and it's there, but something's wrong with it, you'll get in the 1 to 2 range. If you implemented it really well and maybe there's just a minor glitch, like for instance, you've got your images stretched so that they don't look like they've been scaled properly, that's something that I'd probably only take a point off for. If you've applied the skill and really done something awesome with it, you get the full credit, you get 5 points. That's my general skill. So if you look at the rest of the evaluation sheet, all these skills and concepts that I'm looking for, I grade on that 5-point scale, and I've kind of subtotaled it. The flyer, which you learned about first, is the bulk of the points. The letter is worth 15 points, and the form is worth 15 points. Now this all adds up to 70, so there's other components that we'll talk about in a minute, but let's talk about what these skills are that I'm looking for. I'm looking for you to somehow include columns of text in your flyer. That's pretty easy to do, but you can also accomplish this by adjusting margins for the document, for inside of text boxes. I need to see something done with columns or margins. Borders and shading, I hope that's pretty obvious what you can do there. I need to see an example of smart art included, and feel free to customize that for full credit. I mean, you can't just plop something in, type a little bit in it, actually tweak some of the settings, make it fit with your promotional flyer. Same goes for word art. The presence of text boxes is really important if you're going to design a good poster or flyer, so it's pretty obvious that you're going to need text boxes added to your document. Shapes to spruce it up. When you have shapes and text boxes working together, you have to be worried about text wrap, so it should be really obvious to me that there's text wrapping around something. Alignment and grouping. I'm going to click around in your Word document, hopefully to see that you've got items grouped together and spaced apart and distributed properly. The template, which you've learned about during these hands-on exercises, you're going to create a document with an existing template. Make sure you apply a theme, and then you need to tweak the fonts and colors of the theme within the settings for that theme. It's not just selecting text and changing the color. That won't get you full credit. Make sure you actually change the theme's styling. And then next week you're going to learn about forms, creating text input elements, protecting the form so it can be filled out, saving it as a template, that type of thing. So those are the 70 points. You make sure you have all of those elements in and you can get full credit. I do grade you in a couple other areas as well, because everything that you're working on, there needs to be a lot of thoughtful consideration to put into it to make it a quality project. I want to make sure that the information is clear and well organized. If you're turning in a flyer that just says like join CIS 130, that's not really conveying much information. So I'm hoping that there is an informational element to what you're creating. It doesn't have to be full of text. In fact, I'd probably take points away if it was just a lot of text. But I need to see that you've put some effort into designing this. And that continues on to the visual presentation. If it's hard to read, if the colors clash, there's some element of visual presentation that I want to see. And that's not just within the flyer. That applies to kind of all of the documents together as a whole. So I'm hoping that you'll kind of carry through colors or the fonts or something throughout all three documents: the flyer, the letter, and the form. And if you're designing something for business, like your own business, the logo might be a part of that thing that carries through between all three documents. And the last objective is spelling and grammar. If this is a flyer you're posting somewhere or a letter you're sending out to a customer, I hope you don't have any spelling errors, and I hope you don't have any grammatical errors. That's worth 10 points basically for every mistake I see. I dock a point. I try to be pretty fair about that. So that's the rubric. My advice to you, because you could print this or look at it on the screen, is when you're done or as you're building the project, go through the checklist and you'll be able to guess at what your grade will be at in the end. As I've done this project in the past, the number one reason why someone doesn't get a very good grade is because they completely forgot to include a certain set of elements. So make sure that you go through the rubric before you turn in your files. I do want to mention that part of your assignment this week is to brainstorm in the forum. And participation is a huge part of this online class. I need to see that you're engaging with other students and really paying attention in class. So go through the brainstorming forum. You're going to see a lot of sweet ideas in there. I've seen people promoting their businesses. I've seen people promoting their degree program. It's just awesome. I'm so excited already. And it's only Thursday right now. There's still another good 24 hours at least for people to post in the forum. So if you haven't done that already, go get started. This is a good way for you to get feedback from other people, and they might have some really good suggestions for you. Be sure you reply to your peers as well. And the last thing I want to talk about is as you're thinking about this project, you probably still don't quite have a good idea of what I'm looking for. So what I've done is I've gone through and I found some student work from the past that I've shared in Moodle. You can go through and open up the documents to see what I consider to be a complete project. Now that doesn't mean everything in there is perfect, but these are projects that people did very well on, and I felt like they had all of the elements. So be sure to review those if you're looking for more guidance on how to even start. And I think that's everything I wanted to say. I'm sorry this video is a little bit late reaching you, but I hope that all the resources in Moodle have been enough to get you started thinking about it. You should have an idea that you can start working on very soon. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, bkish@midmich.edu.